I'm Gloria Maggio for the Pitt Community College English as a Second Language program, and today we'll be talking about how the state troopers are here to serve and protect you. Joining us this morning is Trooper Doug Coley with the State Troopers Office. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now tell us first of all what your department does in the community.
Well, anything highway related, we enforce motor vehicle law, investigate collisions. We also have other job duties when it comes to hurricane duties, when we have natural disasters. So there's a wide variety of job duties that we do. Most of it is related to the highway and ensuring the public safety.
Okay. Now most people don't know the difference between what is the Greenville Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, the State Trooper's Office. Can you explain how they work together but yet are separate entities?
Yes, we have good working relationships within those departments. Greenville Police Department handles the city limits of Greenville. The Sheriff's Department handles the county. But most of those are different job duties because they handle the civil part, civil processes. The Sheriff's Department does, and they also handle crimes within, like property crimes, assaults, those types of crimes. We handle the highway safety parts of the county.
Okay, now you're talking about the highway. I might be driving along sometime and you may pull me over for some reason. Does that necessarily mean I've done something wrong?
No, we may see something that we need to alert you about. You may have a tire that is going flat. We may notice that, something that could be a safety hazard to you, to let you know. You may have brake lights that are out. Even though that is a violation of the law, we would stop you to let you know, hey, your lights are out. You may have a headlight out. Something that that we could just stop and talk to you about, let you know that you've got this going on, and you might need to get that fixed for safety purposes.
So you're really trying to keep us safe. It's
That's
not
right.
that you're out to get anybody.
That's right. That's we're not actually looking to write a ticket in every stop. That's not the case at all.
Okay, well, if I do happen to get pulled over, is there some sort of protocol I should follow? What should I do once I see the lights and I get pulled over?
Well, pull to the right shoulder of the roadway. You want to make sure that it's a safe location. You don't want to stop on a bridge. You don't want to stop in a curve, because not only does that put you in danger, but it also puts the officer in danger. If you stop on the roadway, again, that's another part that would put you and the officer in danger. So if there's a parking lot nearby, pull into the parking lot, or if not, to the right shoulder of the roadway, and the officer will approach and tell you why he stopped you.
Should I get out?
No. I would encourage everybody to stay in the vehicle. When they exit the vehicle, there's some officer safety concerns there. The officer would want you to stay in the vehicle. He's going to approach the vehicle and talk to you. He's going to ask you probably for your driver's license and registration. And he's got set safety standards that he follows when on a vehicle stop. And when somebody exits the vehicle, there may be other people in the vehicle, passengers in the vehicle as well. And from an officer safety standpoint, you've got to watch the driver plus the people that are in the car, and it creates more of a concern.
Hands on the wheel, or
well,
does that matter?
Hands visible if possible.
Visible. Okay.
That is one of the things that an officer is looking for when he approaches the vehicle. He'll be looking for the hands of the people that are in the vehicle, passengers as well. So for officer safety standpoint, that if you do that, that would help.
Now what if you don't have your driver's license with you at the time, or your registration? You mentioned both of those things.
Yeah, that happens quite often. Sometimes you leave the house and you don't have your driver's license or your registration's not in the glove box, or you can't find it. the officer can check the driver's license status of the driver
online.
By the name and date of birth. We've got a DCI terminals that we can in the car that we can check. We can also access the picture of the driver online through the DCI imagery.
DCI is a computer of some kind?
We've got our mobile data terminal that we're able to access the DMV records to check driver's license status as well as the vehicle information through that mobile data terminal. And it's called the DCI. And what it does is it gives us a picture, the last picture of the driver when they had their driver's license, went to get their driver's license, and we can determine if that picture and the person that we have stopped are the same. So if somebody's given us a false name, then we're able to determine that this is not the.
Does that take a long time?
It does not. Once you, some people know their driver's license number, and you can type that in and access it that way. If not, you can use the name and date of birth of the person and get that information as well. And it tells you, it'll send you back the information, their driving status, if they're suspended, revoked, expired. It gives you their driving history, if they've had any previous speeding tickets or wrecks. It gives you a lot of information about them, as well as giving a picture of the person that you have stopped, that the name is associated with.
Now, what if someone is new to this country and they're pulled over and they don't speak English very well? Is there any kind of interpreter that could help you communicate with the person, or how do you deal with that when there's a language barrier?
And that happens. It doesn't happen a whole lot, but it does happen some. If we need an interpreter, we can contact the county, see if they do have an interpreter available. Some of the officers that work with the county and with the police department, as well as some that work with the highway patrol, do speak a second language that can help out if you have somebody stopped. If you need that, some of our industries here have people from other countries that come in to work. And we have seen that in the past when I worked in Lenore County. DuPont had workers that came in from other countries, so I have run into that in the past. Okay. The Highway Patrol has also sent officers to law enforcement Spanish class, which teaches you how to communicate with, because we have a growing population of Hispanics in North Carolina. So in learning some of the language, Spanish language, it helps us out and makes the person that you have stopped feel more at ease too, if you can communicate in some fashion.
That's an excellent point. And I want to point out too that we do have people, of course, from other countries,
not
other
just
languages.
Hispanic, yes.
But like you said, you can usually get someone on the phone or something
right.
who can interpret, and there'll be a.
And you want, that's the biggest thing. You want that person to feel at ease. They may have violated a law, but they may be unsure about the workings of how we conduct business, and you want to make that person feel at ease if you can, as much as you can.
It's not like if you broke a law, you're automatically hauled off to jail or something.
That's not.
You're trying to help the person understand, hey, this is not what we do in this country.
Yeah, we would, it's more important for them to learn if they're doing something wrong so they don't do it again, and it's for their safety and the other motorists on the road safety as well.
And speaking of safety, I want to talk a little bit about impaired driving, because that doesn't just mean drunk driving, does it?
No, it does not, and that is something that we're having to change our training about. We're seeing a lot more people on the road that are impaired by prescription drugs. That is one of the most growing problems that we've got in society now, and I recently went to some training classes to recognize people that are impaired by prescription drugs. You don't smell the alcohol when you stop them, that doesn't mean they're not impaired. So we've really revamped our training to help our officers recognize when somebody's impaired, not necessarily on alcohol.
And sleepiness can also be a factor, right?
That is another, we have people that are, we're in an area where there's a college town. People are working, they're going to school, they're having to study, they're staying up late, and they're having to drive long distance to see their families when they get out of school or off work. So we're seeing an increase possibly in wrecks that are associated with driving while tired or sleepy, and it affects your reaction time just like it would be for an impaired driver. So that's something else. If we see somebody that is weaving in the road, crossing the center line, or driving not in a normal manner, it might not necessarily mean that they're impaired on alcohol. There may be something else going on. You could stop that person and tell them, hey, I've noticed some of your driving behavior here. If they're tired, it may be a good stop to let them know that, you know, you may not be noticing what you're doing here, but pull over, take a break, pull in the store, get you a cup of coffee, wake up a little bit, and you may save a life by doing that.
And another safety issue, of course, is seat belts. I know there has been, you mentioned to me before this taping, a lot of education has been going on to promote the use of seat belts, and it has saved a lot of lives.
Yes, it has. And early on in my career, I was able to see called to a wreck in a small town that had a small department that couldn't handle serious PI or fatalities. And when I was called to that wreck, when I got to the scene, I noticed there was a minor amount of damage to the vehicle, and I really was wondering why I was called, because I knew they had the officers that could investigate that, until I got to the car and saw that there was a teenager in the passenger seat that had been killed. And what happened was the driver was a young driver. She had her seatbelt on. Her sister was sitting in the passenger seat trying to put her seatbelt on. They were going approximately 20 miles per hour. And she reached over to help her sister, and in doing so turned the wheel, went over the curbing, hit the tree. She was thrust forward, hit her head on the windshield, it broke her neck, and she was killed. So early on in my career, I saw how important it was to wear a seatbelt, even in a minor, what could have been just a minor property damage wreck, and resulted in a fatality. And I've seen it throughout with seatbelt use and seatbelt enforcement, and how it correlates with preventing injuries and fatalities.
And the point here would be to do it before, or to hook it up before you start moving at all.
That's right. That's right. Make it a part of starting the vehicle, putting the seatbelt on.
If I need to contact a state trooper when I'm out on the highway, if I see an accident, or if I have had one, what do I do? Well,
you can call 911. They can forward the information to the Highway Patrol Communication Centers. It also helps with getting rescue and the fire department on the way, because it's important, if you have injuries, to go ahead and get rescue on the way. The fire department can help assist if there may be a vehicle fire, or assist with traffic. We couldn't do our job without the fire department and rescue, there's no doubt. So that accesses those two emergency units. And if you see something else, if you're behind someone, you can that you see violations that need to be addressed, you can dial star HP as well.
All right. Thanks for being with us, Trooper Coley.
Thank you.
And please be careful on the roadways. For Pitt Community College English as a Second Language program, I'm Gloria Maggio.